Hello there, it's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astro-Numerologist. Welcome to Star Codes, where we look at an upcoming event in the stars and numbers. In this case, the Libra lunar eclipse. We have reached the first eclipse season of the year, and this is a big one because the second of two eclipses, the one in Aries on April 8th, is the biggest eclipse of the year. So this Libra lunar eclipse, which is a full moon eclipse, precedes it. And so it's vital that we understand the energy behind it because it's actually preparing us for the big one on April 8th. So this lunar eclipse happens on March 25th at 7 a.m. Universal Time. That's in Greenwich, England. And that would be 3 a.m. Eastern Time because the clocks, I don't think, have changed in Europe at that point yet. So 3 a.m. Eastern and then 7 a.m. Pacific. And it's the third consecutive full moon at 5 degrees. Now, of course, this is a full moon eclipse, but we've had two full moons prior to this also at 5 degrees. And 5 is the number of freedom. It's the number of liberation, setting yourself free, very similar to the sign of Aquarius. 5 also embraces all experiences, all people. It's a very people-friendly number. It is a number of wanting to explore, and it governs the 5 senses as well. Now, lunar eclipses are full moons that, like the full moons, signify culmination. Everything is lit up, right? It's culminating, whereas new moons are new beginnings. So full moons tend to be about releasing, celebrating, ending something, letting go, purging. And during an eclipse, any eclipse, the moon is close to one of the two nodes, either the south node or the north node, which are the lunar nodes. And in this case, the moon is conjunct the south node. And the south node is in Libra, the moon is in Libra, the sun is in Aries. The moon is at 5 degrees. And the south node is at 15 degrees in Libra. So the south node has the similar meaning to full moon in that it represents releasing the past, purging, letting go. And of course, the full moon is the same. So they both are about being able to say goodbye to something that has already been experienced and move into something that is brand new. So, having said that, it's a double whammy of release, and that is preparing us for that big new moon eclipse, that total eclipse on April 8th. So, going back to the theme of the Libra eclipse on March 25th, Libra governs relationships, balance, beauty, peace, harmony, justice. It represents the scales of justice, romance, dating, cooperation. It is about the back and forth of connecting and listening and having that beautiful equilibrium where both sides are listened to equally and not one dominating the other. So this is very much about putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and understanding where they're coming from, and then they in turn doing the same with you. So this Libra eclipse will be very helpful in terms of the freedom aspect of it in the numerology, the number 5 degrees, in terms of being fully conscious of the people you're with, being very present in all your relationships, and that itself will liberate you from being attached. It sounds a little bit like a paradox, but when you truly listen from your heart, you're not judging or expecting. You literally are just being present energetically and holding the space for the interchange. And so this is a huge moment for us to not get attached to an outcome. And in this case, it is an outcome that we may expect from another. So whether you have children or a partner, parents, friends, colleagues that you know are going through a shift, or maybe you are and they're expecting something from you, this all needs to be released so that everybody feels free and liberated to understand each other and give them the freedom to actually explore what it is that's arising from within them, as opposed to acquiescing to external prompts that are being imposed on them. So this is a really big subject because we tend to unconsciously project some of our unresolved fears on others, and that's how a lot of the strife can happen, the stress in a relationship. And so this will definitely come up during this Libra eclipse. Well, I shouldn't say definitely, if it needs to, right? If it is something that you are needing in order to move to a place of greater acceptance of yourself, this will definitely come up for you in some way. Now, when the moon is in Libra, we see more clearly where we are out of balance, and then we can more easily, during the Libra impact, make a correction, course correct, based on the feedback that we're getting, and regain our equilibrium. Now, what really is helping this Libra eclipse is that March in 2024 adds up to an 11 universal month. And 11 is very tied into Libra. 11 reduces to 2, the number of balance. 11 represents being present equally on both sides. And Libra is also about the cooperation, relationships, and balance. The number 2 is about two people. So Libra is intimately connected with not only the number 11, but the number 2. And we are in the 2000s, and we're learning more and more to listen to each other, not to dominate. So we're in the 2000s, we're in the 2020s, we are in the decade of the number 2, and we are celebrating also the equinox, which happens on the 20th of March. So Libra liberates us from being caught up in our thoughts by bringing the energy into balance so that it's both the heart and the mind. And Libra listens. If you just have one thing you take that's a takeaway for you, it's looking at the word listen and Libra and remembering that, because listening invites in the other side. And that can be your intuition, which is really the most important relationship that you have. It can be expressed, though, in the most dynamic way in your relationships. Listening truly from the heart, where you're listening to energy. You're not just listening to the words, which is using your mind, but you're truly listening in a holistic way. You're feeling out what is actually being said. So Libra liberates you when you listen. And it liberates you because then you're very accepting and you hear the truth. You're not just hearing the words that may be covering up something else, which is very often the case, right? When we're not talking just a practical matter, but looking more deeply at something. Now, it's difficult to be in balance and feel at peace if we are not connecting on that deep listening level and accept every situation as it is, accepting life as it is, accepting people as they are, accepting yourself as you are. Because not accepting what is real does close down your ability to intuit, because you are actually putting up a wall that impedes your heart from engaging. And the heart is the doorway to love. The heart is the doorway to peace, to harmony, to beauty. And you are then shutting out those qualities. So it's very important to be accepting. And so this Libra eclipse is, in a powerful way, bringing things to a culmination, being a full moon eclipse, and allowing you to accept whatever comes up for you. When you connect and listen to your body, listen to the prompts, the subtle prompts in your body, and of course your intuition, peace flows through you, and love is present in everything that you do. You just feel free. You feel completely liberated from the drama, from the attachments of how you want things and why are things not working the way I want. You know, that whole idea of being the controlling element in a relationship or in your own life, where you're not accepting how things are flowing and then finding new ways to adapt. Now, this lunar eclipse does make aspects to other planets, so let's look at some of those transits. So the sun and moon are creating a beautiful triangle with Pluto, where the moon is trine to Pluto and the sun is sextile to Pluto. And that means that we're going to feel a lot of transformation, which began during the equinox. If you remember, on March 20th, the sun was also sextile Pluto. And so that prepared us for this moment 5 days later on the 25th. And basically, you are more sensitive emotionally. You're very connected to transformation, uncovering the unseen, and empowering yourself as a result, because you're very accepting of whatever appears. And that gives you a sense of, this is what I need, this is what I want. You're determined to achieve your goals. Pluto's very empowering. And when it's in a harmonious connection with the two luminaries, sun and moon, during an eclipse, you're deeply moving through something profound that then awakens and gives you some blessings, because this is a very harmonious connection. So I really like this, especially preceding the major event on April 8th. So it will give you that sense of empowerment that you need to feel the courage and the trust and the ability to change when necessary, because Pluto governs that transformation. So this connection to Pluto really allows you to take the lead. And what I love about this eclipse is that Venus makes so many connections. Venus rules Libra. So Venus is the ruling planet of this Libra lunar eclipse. And Venus makes quite a few transits. Venus is all about relationships and love and beauty and harmony. Venus is conjunct Saturn, which makes it all real. We're looking at being clear about relationships in terms of taking them seriously, and looking at loyalty and integrity and commitment and long-term as well. With any endeavor, it doesn't just have to be relationships. It could be a creative project that you begin or launch or just love into being. It will be lasting. It will really make a big impact. Also, Venus is sextile to Jupiter, and those are the two benefics in astrology, Venus and Jupiter. And that brings a lot of good luck as well. This is amazing because Jupiter is about to go into a conjunction with Uranus. It's really the big transit of the year, and that happens in April. April's a huge month, as you can tell. April 8th is the major total eclipse, and then we have Jupiter conjunct Uranus a couple weeks later, and that is major. So now with Jupiter sextile to Venus, the ruler of the first eclipse, the Libra eclipse, it really is showing that we are ready to accept blessings, goodness, to be grateful. So two things. First of all, Venus is exalted in Pisces, and Jupiter is the original ruler of Pisces before Neptune was discovered. So this brings a beautifully spiritual, loving theme into the whole story, especially with the two benefics. So it's incredibly, it's like the stars are showering us with blessings during this time to help us integrate gratitude and joy and beauty and love. And Jupiter is also conjunct Uranus. Not exact, that happens in April, that really big month. April 8th has that solar eclipse, the total eclipse, and then later, 2 weeks later, we have this conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus. Huge times we're getting into now. And so this allows this beautiful Venus blessing. Venus, the ruler of this Libra eclipse, is blessing Jupiter and blessing Uranus in Taurus. And by the way, Venus also rules Taurus. So we're having a major Venus blessing here. It is absolutely stunning. And I can't tell you how excited I am, because Venus, of course, is also sextile Uranus. Uranus is merged with Jupiter, so Venus is sextiling both planets. And that is a special craving for excitement, for love, for astrology, numerology, anything that relates with exploration and adventure and exploring love and finances in a new way. This is fantastic energy with Jupiter in the mix, and Taurus, like I said, also being ruled by Venus. So with so much Venus love, it's a fantastic time for you to explore that planet more, because I don't know if you know this, Venus has 13 phases. Venus creates a 5-pointed star in how she moves around the Earth. And we are going to dive into all of this in the free webinar, VenusMarsCode.com. We're also going to look at Mars, because Mars is the sacred masculine, Venus the divine feminine. We look at the letters V and M. They're intricately connected and related. They stand for Venus and Mars, of course. We are also looking at the origins of the Mayan calendar and so much more. So enjoy that free masterclass. You can get instant access at VenusMarsCode.com. Have a beautiful Libra lunar eclipse, and I will see you in next week's Star Codes podcast. Lots of love.